Well, hello there, my name is Kristen. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here on this channel, I like to talk about social and cultural issues, usually through the lens of pop culture and public figures, but not always. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a case study on what happens when you are so committed to the idea that you are a good person that you don't let yourself see where you have been the bad person. It's kind of, a case study on main character syndrome, if you will. And we are going to be looking at Gabbie Hanna for our case study. And because a hallmark feature of main character syndrome is thinking you are the main character, I'm going to try to structure this kind of story that I'm telling in the form of a play, more like a tragedy really. There's gonna be 3 acts. So yeah, if you're interested in this concept, please stick with me. And we'll get into Act 1. And if you hear my cat running around, she is hyper, and that's why you hear that. I don't know, she just kind of darted across the room there. So yeah, let's get going. So we begin our story in Act 1 in 2014, where Gabbie is a successful social media influencer on the website Vine, and she's on top of the world. She has 4.9 million subscribers, and things are going pretty well. However, the website Vine is actually kind of hard to make money on because it doesn't pay people for views. The creators relied on third-party sponsorships to make money. And the website itself also was kind of starting to become less popular in 2014. So many creators, including Gabbie, were looking for other places to grow their audience and make sure that they had continued growth potential, for the next coming years. Because again, Vine was dying. And so Gabbie, along with some other content creators that she collaborated with on Vine, moved over to YouTube. Gabbie posted her first YouTube video in 2014 in September, and it was just a Q&A video. And that is kind of how her YouTube journey began. Because she had such a large following on Vine, she was able to bring quite a lot of them over to YouTube with her, which helped kind of kickstart her YouTube channel. She also continued to collaborate with the people that she collaborated with on Vine, and this group became known as the Vlog Squad on YouTube. She appeared in many, if not most, of the Vlog Squad videos, and she, had public friendships with members of the Vlog Squad, as well as other famous influencers who, ran in that same circle. And this kind of cross-promotion that she and many other YouTubers were doing at the time played a big role in growing their audiences, because they were able to, kind of basically share audiences with each other. They could introduce their audience to one of their friends' audiences and vice versa, and then both influencers would then now have a bigger audience. So this method of growth was very effective, and her channel continued to grow, for years through this method. From 2014 to 2016, Gabbie did very well for herself on the platform. Her subscriber count grew to 1.4 million subscribers as of May 2016. Her average view count was about 671,000 views per video. And she was appearing regularly in Vlog Squad videos, which continued to drive traffic back to her channel. Unfortunately, 2016 was not all good for her, because at the end of 2015, a video came out kind of, alleging that she had been stealing jokes for her content and profiting off of other people's work, essentially. And this came out like late December 2015. And so it was really in 2016 that, things continued to escalate. There was the initial backlash right at the end of 2015, but people continued talking about it through 2016. And Gabbie didn't address it publicly for a long time. It took her until May of 2016 to actually say something about it. And here, right before Gabbie, addresses the joke stealing incident, is where we're gonna close Act 1. And if this were a play, I don't think there would be an intermission here. I think we would just go to the next scene. And it's not a play, so there's that. But anyway, let's go to Act 2, okay? So Act 2 is opening with Gabbie, our tragic hero, addressing the joke thief accusations, okay? So she decided to address these accusations by posting a video on her lesser known channel. So she has like her main channel, which has been called The Gabbie Show and Gabbie Hanna alternatively throughout the years. I think it's currently The Gabbie Show. This other channel is called like Gabbie's Home Videos or something like that. She posted it there on her side channel, which before you even watch her video addressing it, the fact that she put it on her side channel kind of feels like she was trying to make sure she didn't like tell any subscribers who didn't already know about it what had happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something to note. So she posts on her side channel a video kind of going through the examples that were brought up in the video accusing her of stealing jokes. And the person who made this original video, they picked out the most egregious examples. So there was a time where she verbatim tweeted the exact same thing that a comedian had before. I can't remember if it was Bo Burnham or somebody else, but it was verbatim the exact same thing as him. There was another time where she, you know, I think in a video, she basically did a Louis C.K. bit and kind of passed it off as her own. And there were a few other examples brought up in that first one where she had basically stolen jokes from like very famous comedians, and it was just like, come on now. And with each of these 4 examples, Gabbie claimed with each of them that she had done it unintentionally, that she didn't know that she had heard the joke before, or that she just came up with it on her own as well. And because she didn't know that someone else had already made this joke, it therefore, you know, it wasn't joke stealing and she didn't do anything wrong. And then though, okay, then she goes on to admit that there were a bunch of other times that she really did literally steal jokes, just copy and paste jokes and tweet them. And her justification for this is that she did not realize that people viewed her as a comedian. She thought she was just a person who posts funny things, which is a comedian. And she also did not realize that by tweeting something, she was implying that she had written the tweet.
Well, I'm not claiming that I wrote this tweet. I wrote it, like I just copied and pasted it because it's funny and I wanted to share it with my friends. It's the same as like when you tweet a song lyric, like I don't tag the band, like I'm just tweeting a song lyric because I like it. So if I like a joke, I tweet it because I like it. Because I guess I didn't realize at the time that I was considered a comedy creator. Because I've never looked at myself as a comedian. I would just thought of myself as like a dumb kid who shares funny shit on the internet.
Like she tried to say that she didn't realize people thought she wrote the joke just because she posted the joke. And so she kind of like denies all the examples of this guy, says they were, you know, not true, but then kind of tries to hand wave away all the cases where she did literally just steal jokes. And throughout this whole video, she's, you know, saying really self-pitying stuff, talking about how it kind of ruined her Christmas and it was really upsetting, and she doesn't think that the criticism's coming from a good place, and just trying to like emphasize that this has been really hard for her, and, you know, she really doesn't appreciate the criticism and she doesn't feel like she deserves, you know, the reaction that she's getting to plagiarism.
Basically, I'm talking about this video that came out on December 23rd. The reason I remember it is December 23rd is because it was my entire Christmas and New Year's was on my phone when I should have been with my family, just like obsessed with comments and followers and subscribers, and just kind of my world felt like it was collapsing in. And this guy made a video where he basically accused me of stealing jokes and profiting on other people's content and building this whole platform on other people's content, and said that I was making money off the work of others. Internet, especially when somebody decides that they hate you, there's really not much changing their mind or anything. Even though the video that was made about me was really cruel and it seemed to come more of like a hateful place than like a productive, constructive place, it happened. And it happened. And I wish that I could have been called out in a more private, respectable manner. No, I didn't intentionally, maliciously steal from Louis or Bo or Mitch. Yes, I did intentionally steal tweets, but it wasn't malicious either. I just was ignorant and stupid and saw everybody else doing it, so I thought it was okay. And I think I lost a lot of respect from a lot of people, and that's something that I also have to deal with.
I wanted to leave this ad in there because I think it says a lot that this video was monetized.
And that kind of hurts. I know that if you hate me, you hate me, and you'll never stop hating me, and that's just the way it is. But At least I said what I could. I did just want to defend myself a little and kind of maybe help you understand that I was dumb and I didn't get it.
Watching the video is kind of confusing because, you know, she'll say like, I did something wrong, and then the next, you know, section she'll follow up with like, but also I didn't know it was wrong and it's not really my fault, and, you know, actually the people who are criticizing me for what I did wrong, they're being bullies. And it's just very much like, so were you wrong or were you wronged? Because you seem to think that you were wronged, but this video was supposed to be talking about what you did wrong, right? And so she kind of seems almost unable to accept that she was in the wrong and that she's not being victimized by the person who criticized her. And I think that this is coming from, again, what I mentioned in the beginning, where she thinks of herself as a good person. She really thinks that she's a good person and a nice friend. And if she's a good person, how can she have intentionally stolen all of this content for years and profited off of it? You know, if she's a good person, how can she have done this wrong thing that people are accusing her of? And so she has to make it twisted in her mind so that, no, so she's basically saying to herself, like, no, I'm a good person. I'm the main character. I'm the protagonist. I made some mistakes, which main characters do, but the people who are coming after me are the villains because they are blowing it up out of proportion and they, you know, are making everyone mad at me. And so I'm actually the victim here. I feel like that's like the logic that you see come up just over and over again in Gabbie Hanna apology videos, because there are many Gabbie Hanna apology videos that will be made over the years. We're not going to go through them all exhaustively just because I can't bring myself to do that. We're going to probably just do one or two more kind of scandals. So you're either going to have to take my word for it that she does this, or you're going to have to do your own research. But trust me, it won't be very hard. Just type Gabbie Hanna. I bet the first video will talk about the thing I'm talking about. So anyway, so back to kind of the story. This joke stealing incident and the way she responded to it really revealed to us for the first time, you know, the public at least, Gabbie's kind of fatal flaw. Because again, she is a tragic hero in this story, and tragic heroes always have fatal flaws. And her fatal flaw is that she really wants to be a good person, and she really wants to see herself as being the good person in every situation. She is the main character. She's the good guy. That's, in my opinion, kind of like her fatal flaw that kind of gets her every time. It keeps her from growing as a creator, keeps her from growing as a person, and it keeps her from being able to, you know, generate and maintain goodwill with the public. Now, that being said, her fatal flaw that I said does all this bad stuff to her, just because it was showing at this time in 2016, I wouldn't say that it started to really catch up to her yet. When she made this, you know, apology kind of video, it wasn't really a full apology. I think a lot of her fans were okay with it, and then a lot of her critics were like, you know, I don't know that they necessarily believed her, but she moved on from this, and she continued to grow, and her channel continued to gain in subscribers and views. So her, you know, like I said, her fatal flaw would not come back to bite her just yet. So from May 2016 to May 2017, her total subscribers and her total average views per video both almost tripled. So she went up to 4.1 million subscribers and 1.8 million average views per video, which is, you know, a lot. Those are some numbers, right? And her continued involvement in the vlog squad during this time, in my opinion, is what contributed to a lot of this growth and what shielded her from losing subscribers and views after this joke stealing controversy, because she was still in all of those videos. She was still, you know, seen as being friends with all of those people. And so the public kind of supported her along with them, if that makes any sense. So as we get into 2017 and 2018, we see a lot of change coming from Gabbie. She kind of starts pivoting away from just being a social media influencer and shows interest in doing some other kinds of creative work. So she releases music. She releases a music video called Out Loud, and this music video got 15 million views. And she also released a book called Adultolescence, which was a book of poems, and it was on the New York Times bestseller list. Although it kind of got mixed reviews, I will say. She got criticized for, just not being a great poet, essentially. A lot of people found her work to be a little bit underdeveloped, and it seemed like, it wasn't as polished as people would like to see in a poetry book. But it sold very well, and again, her music video got a lot of views. And so this was like, a good year, but also a year with a lot of, new stuff happening, right? And I think during this time where she was trying to make a book and she was trying to, make a music video, she was realizing that continuing to film with the vlog squad for these daily vlogs that they made was no longer sustainable. After the fact, she would later say that it basically just got confusing, because when you are with your friends all day long and you're filming things for your content, the lines between like what you're doing and saying as friends and what you're doing and saying as, content creators who are kind of acting in a way, it gets blurred, and it got harder for her to tell like what was real and what was work, is what she said. And I think her explanation makes a lot of sense. When you go back and watch some of the Vlog Squad videos, you'll notice that she is kind of the comic relief. She's kind of the butt of the joke. If you've watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you would recognize her as being kind of like the D character, just made fun of quite a bit, and kind of mean jokes made about her. And again, these people, they work together, they were making content together. So chances are they didn't mean the mean things that they were saying to her. It was just like for the vlog, and because that is what the viewers seem to like. But at the same time, if your friends are saying all this mean stuff to you, even if you know it's for the vlog, I think at a certain point you start to be like, do they actually think this? And so then combine that with, she was actually trying to like get her music career off the ground, and she was trying to get a poetry thing going. She was busy, and she was like having this affect her, sense of like what's real. And so she eventually decided to stop filming with the Vlog Squad. So sometime in 2017, she stopped appearing in Vlog Squad videos. And because she never made a statement about why she left the Vlog Squad initially, and because no one else in the Vlog Squad made any statements, a lot of the fans kind of interpreted it as something happened and Gabbie did something wrong. And they kind of like turned against her in a way. Some of the Vlog Squad fans did after she left, because they just kind of assumed that something had gone down and that, they weren't cool with each other anymore. And so leaving the Vlog Squad, I don't think Gabbie realized at the time exactly how much this would affect her channel and her channel's growth. But it had a very substantial effect. It's not that she like immediately stopped growing. I have like a chart on the screen somewhere, and so I'll just look at the chart and you'll see like the growth rate. It went from being like more than 100% growth rate to like less, and then it got even less. And you can see that like her channel, while it was still growing, it was not growing as fast as it had once been growing, and the growth rate was continuing to slow down, and so that wasn't a good sign. It is highly likely that at this point, the slowdown in growth was very connected to what happened with the Vlog Squad. She no longer had just that built-in audience of everyone who likes the Vlog Squad because she left. And so her channel started to slow down. While I do think that leaving the Vlog Squad had a big effect on her channel and kind of kicked off its kind of slowing down, I think that her main character syndrome and the way that she would always victimize herself, even when she was trying to say that she did something wrong, I don't think that helped. You know what I mean? Like, she lost the audience of the Vlog Squad, right? But then she also kind of ruined every chance she had with the general public. And so, like, someone like me, I didn't know who the Vlog Squad was. I didn't care about them. I only ever heard about Gabbie Hanna when she started getting into certain scandals, and all I ever heard was how she was giving really bad apologies and not taking accountability. So I, became biased against her. And I think that's how a lot of people who might have become Gabbie Hanna followers, I think that happened with them too. I feel like she kind of ruined her chance to grow her audience and move into like kind of a different segment of the population by continually victimizing herself and refusing to just like own up to doing something wrong for once without nitpicking the way that people criticized her first. Just to give like one example of like another example of where she did this whole like kind of self-victimization thing when kind of dismissing the criticism and just kind of refusing to accept that she did something wrong. I'm going to go over like one scandal that happened during this time period. So it was in November 2018, she and some other creators were called out for essentially promoting a company that was, they were basically running a scam. This company was claiming to be giving away free $80 makeup brush sets, and people just had to pay for the $10 shipping. And so Gabbie Hanna and other creators like Tana Mongeau, I don't know how to say her name, were promoting this company. I think they had like affiliate links or codes or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how they were getting paid, but they promoted this company and told people about this deal and recommended it to people. And so many fans took this as an endorsement of the products, and believing they were getting $80 brushes and just paying for shipping, they went to this website and ordered these brushes. And a lot of people did not get their brushes. Some never got them. Some got them after like months. And those who did get the brushes, within a more reasonable time frame, realized that these were very cheap brushes that you could order on like a wholesale website for 20 something cents each. So they were not $80 brushes at all. They weren't even dollar brushes. And so that made people mad, and people talked about this and said that it was a scam, because it kind of was. And Gabbie Hanna, when she finally decided to address this, it was not handled well. So in this situation, she basically put all the blame back onto fans. She was very, very unapologetic. She literally said like, I'm sorry if you weren't satisfied with the product or something like that, but like she said, I'm sorry, but, and she basically said like, people should have known that they weren't getting $80 brushes for $10. They should have expected a $10 value for $10, and that people should manage their expectations. And it was just kind of like, girl, like, you promoted this website that was claiming to be giving away $80 brushes. If you couldn't stand by their claims, you shouldn't have been promoting the website. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of, like every other time before, she refused to accept the idea that she might have been the bad guy here. And so because Gabbie is a good person, she is nice and she is a good person and she is the main character, she had to twist the situation to be, again, people are lobbing unfair criticism at her, and it's actually everybody else who's in the wrong, and Gabbie did nothing wrong, and Gabbie's a good person, Gabbie's the main character. Just another case of it happening again. And so with, the end of that scandal, we reached the close of Act 2. Our tragic hero has, they've reached kind of the peak of their YouTube career. They have, shown us their tragic flaw, their fatal flaw. We've seen them go through some conflict and fail to really deal with the conflict appropriately. And now we're getting into Act 3, where we start to see kind of the downfall of our tragic hero. And so let's go. So her public reputation continued to be eroded, and her growth continued to slow throughout the year of 2019. And when we get to the year 2020, we actually start to see her channel not just slowing down in growth, we see the channel shrinking. And that's, obviously a bad sign if you are a Gabbie. And I think it was over the summer of 2020 where she really started to realize that, like, not only had her growth slowed, but she was losing subscribers now, and her view counts were going down. Because in the summer of 2020, she started posting about how YouTube was suppressing her channel and suppressing her views, and there was some kind of, there was some kind of puppet master at YouTube who was, sabotaging her channel basically. She never did provide any evidence that this was happening, and no one else ever could find evidence for her. And so, as far as I can tell, and as far as most commentators at the time could tell, it seemed like her channel, again, shrinking was just the logical result of, what had been happening with it for the last couple of years. Like, the channel had been slowly going down in terms of like its growth. And so as this growth rate continued to shrink, it makes sense that eventually it would go negative, right? And so that's what happened, really. She wasn't being sabotaged by YouTube, but she thought she was. And I think at some point she realized that wasn't the case because she stopped talking about that. But again, her insisting that YouTube is sabotaging her and that her channel couldn't possibly be shrinking because she just isn't engaging her audience and growing her audience. It's just another case of her having main character syndrome, because again, YouTube's out to get her. It couldn't possibly be something she did wrong. She's the main character. And anyway, yeah, so, but I think eventually she realized that wasn't true and let it go. And then she starts to try a new strategy. Instead of complaining about how she's being sabotaged by YouTube, she kind of starts to sabotage herself a little bit. It's unfortunate. So from May 2020 to May 2021, her subscriber count went down by 8%. So I think, in late 2020 and early 2021, she was kind of realizing, like I said, that YouTube wasn't sabotaging her and that she was actually going to have to do something to get the engagement rates back up to try to get her channel back on track. And so, as she once tweeted in 2019, when the views are down, it helps to get a scandal going. And so that's what she did. She started beef with multiple people. She sent her fans to mass report the Instagram account of a creator who had criticized her poetry books. She brought beef back up with Trisha Paytas, despite them begging her to stop and to leave them alone because she was triggering their mental health issues. She brought back up beef with somebody because they liked a tweet. She brought up a fight with someone because years ago he passed on her in a game of Smash or Pass. It was just really bizarre stuff that she's bringing up and saying kind of attacking people, calling them irrelevant, saying that nobody cares about them, saying that they're not talented, calling them the B word, and just saying really horrible things about them, and saying that she's actually just defending herself against bullies, because these are all people who in her mind are villains and have done something wrong to her, and she's a good person, she's in the right, and they hurt her, and so her randomly lashing out at them now is actually just her defending herself, which doesn't really make sense at all, because to be defending yourself, somebody would have to be attacking you in the first place, and that just wasn't happening. But the goal again was to get people talking about her, apparently, because she would later come back online and say she's worried about the internet because people think she's being serious, and she's just trolling, and she's if there's one thing I know how to do, it's go viral, and I'm just doing what I do, or something weird like that, and posting these videos of her kind of dancing erratically and singing in a strange way and kind of screaming at the camera. Just a lot of really odd things that she's posting, kind of she's trying to look like she's going through a mental breakdown. It doesn't seem like she actually was going through a breakdown. I mean, I don't know her. I can't really actually say what her mental state was, but it came off to me like someone who was trying to manufacture drama, as opposed to someone who was just earnestly posting just really embarrassing stuff. And if I'm wrong, then I apologize in advance, because I don't want to giggle at someone who's genuinely struggling, but to me it just kind of seemed like she was, I hope what I'm saying makes sense.
Drama seeking, right? I started drama. I just want attention. Ah! I do want attention. Please. Please! I do want attention. And I think that this should have attention.
So, some leaked Patreon posts would reveal that Gabbie is working on a series. She has rebranded herself back from Gabbie Hanna to the Gabbie Show, and she told people on her Patreon that she's releasing a series. It's hard to say what it's about. Based on what her posts said, it seems like the series will be autobiographical or semi-autobiographical, I'm not sure. But so kind of like what I said, where, you know, when the views are down, get into a scandal to increase engagement. That's what she was doing. She was trying to get people talking about her, get her name trending, try to get her channel moving back in the right direction so that she can release her series and her series won't bomb. So we can probably expect to keep hearing her name and keep seeing her trying to start stuff until she releases her series and until she's done promoting it, because I'm sure she's going to be trying to like get people to talk about it so that they will see it and she can make money off of it, because that is how she makes her money. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, you know, that's kind of like the end of our story. We're kind of here where we've watched Gabbie's channel start to just actually free fall a little bit, and Gabbie kind of freaked out and is doing some really nutty stuff to try to reverse this thing that's happened to her channel, and we don't really know what's going to happen. It kind of looks like to me like it's going to continue going in a downward spiral, because this whole time Gabbie has not demonstrated an ability to look critically at herself and recognize where she was in the wrong fully. You know, she's still now, even now when she's like trying to start up drama, she's very committed to the idea that she's a good person and that she is defending herself as she attacks these people unprovoked. And I think that this, you know, attachment to the idea of being a good person and to like kind of being the main character is really, really screwing her up, because it's this kind of behavior that has poisoned her goodwill with the public, and in my opinion has prevented her from growing her fan base outside of people who used to follow her years ago, because most people, if they've heard her name, only know it because she's been behaving badly for years. And so it's kind of like, you know, it's ironic and it's also kind of tragic and also a little bit poetic that the very behavior and beliefs that have caused her to lose her channel in many ways, you know, lose many subscribers at least, those things, you know, that very thing that is causing her to lose subscribers is the thing that she's trying to use to gain them back, right? Like her main character syndrome, her obsession with being a good person and unwillingness to admit when she is being a bad person is why people don't like her and why people aren't supporting her. But it's also why she is acting the way she is right now. Because if she didn't think that she was a good person, if she didn't think that she was the main character, she wouldn't be able to act like this and insist that she's just defending herself. So it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of sad, it's kind of tragic, it's kind of poetic. So yeah, we'll see what happens for her. I hope that, I don't know, to me, she doesn't seem like a horrible person. You know what I mean? Like, she seems like a fine person, like anyone who has flaws, but it's just like, because she lives such a public life and she is so unwilling to look at her flaws, it just kind of, you know, it doesn't serve her well. So we'll see what happens. You know, anything can. Hopefully things turn around. But if they don't, you know, this is the end of my tragic story is what I'm telling you. The end of Act 3, Finn. So yeah, so that's my video about Gabbie Hanna. I hope this has been interesting to you. I hope I've made the point I was trying to make, and that this like kind of idea of trying to do like the structure of like a Greek tragedy kind of made sense and came through in the video. We'll see. But either way, thank you so much for watching, especially if you're like watching me speak these words right now, because that means you watched it to the end, and that is super duper nice of you, and I just love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. Also, I want to address that this is Thursday. I'm uploading on a Thursday. I couldn't make my Wednesday upload this week, and so I am just pretending that it is Wednesday, even though it's not. Next week, I will hopefully be back on Wednesday because I want to keep my Wednesday posting schedule going. But yeah, just want to acknowledge that. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you will consider liking and subscribing and all that jazz. So yeah, bye.